Yeah. Oh. News ready. My. Woo! All right, let's get started with this Monday. Hi everyone, this is the Anna Report live show with Anna Kachikian and
real. I said it this time. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, you're getting it. Yeah. It's really important that you introduce yourself. You know, what was I saying? Oh yeah. How you asked me how my Monday is.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening today. Like a lot. Today, is a very special day. So can you pop that very sparkly?
I need to know what it's for.
It's a birthday.
Whose birthday?
It's my grandmother's birthday.
Your grandmother?
Yeah.
Where is she? Mom's like,
she died.
Oh, where is she buried?
Forest Lawn.
Did you visit?
We visited yesterday. Can you pour?
Absolutely. How old is she today?
89.
When did she pass?
20 years ago. So this is her.
Seriously?
20. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I like to celebrate. Okay, you got if you know me or if you watch the Anna Report, you know I love birthdays. I mean,
even your grandmother passed away 20 years ago. You celebrate those.
We have a cake. We have candles. We have a sparkly bottle. I love to celebrate people, and it doesn't matter at any point if you've ever touched my life. I'm gonna celebrate you.
Happy birthday, Grandma!
Yeah. How do you say grandma in Armenian?
That's mama. Right?
Yeah. I say tatik. Do you know tatik? Or do you say dodik?
Or mommy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We got an interesting topic tonight. I like it.
So good.
What I believe, though, is where you are in life. So if you want a mature woman or not.
Oh, okay.
Right?
We should tell them what the topic is.
Oh, I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's if you're dating a mature woman or not. And so if you're in your early 20s, you don't really care. But as you grow, you'd like more mature woman or a mature man, right? As you get older.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is a great topic. And this is ways of areas of the person to see if they are mature or not. You know, the qualities in that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have actually, you said as you get older, you want a mature woman. What if you are a 34-year-old man, but you want a 21-year-old because you want a virgin, you want someone that you can raise, mold into, shape into who you want. What about that?
That's hard to find.
What about those people?
That's really hard to find. A 21-year-old. The guy who wants that young girl, is he looking for a mature girl, but at that age?
I think he knows that. I think he knows, right?
Yeah. Human nature is when you're young in your early 20s, you're not most likely going to be mature. So I think that guy knows what he's getting himself into. And that is somebody on his arm who's good looking, attractive, and we call it a trophy. And that's what she would be. And hey, if that's what he wants, that's his prerogative.
Same with me, right? If I was to date a 60-year-old now, I think a 60-year-old man would know that a 28-year-old
Forever 28.
Forever 28. I think that a 6-year-old would know that, but a 32-year-old is not gonna be where I would be at 55.
I don't even want the 55-year-old who's 60 and 80. I mean, no, if he's looking for a girl like you in her early 30s, I think you're mature and you're even better because, of course, he wants a 30-year-old rather than a 55-year-old.
Yeah, but he needs to know that my maturity level is not there. Yeah, my wisdom is not at 60. My wisdom is at
he doesn't want that.
30.
Most likely doesn't. It's where he's at in his life, right? Does he have kids? Is he by himself?
But that's
a widow?
That's a perfect example. A 60-year-old man probably has kids and grandkids, right? So dating a 30-some-year-old, you need to know that coming in, I'm not gonna know how to deal with your grandkids, let alone your kids.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So it's kind of similar. But you're welcome. We have a guest today to explain everything to us so that we're not like two oi ois over here.
About time.
Oh,
You don't like living the oi oi life?
that oi oi today was hysterical. You guys need to go watch my Instagram story. You too. You reposted it.
Oi oi.
Oi oi. I can't.
They say my volume's going. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
I think you should yell.
How much louder do you want me to get?
Is that good?
Is that better?
I like it. So might be the chest hair. It might be.
Could be.
Yeah. You need to speak louder.
Okay, I will speak louder. I'm gonna just yell in the room. Okay? Is that good enough? Am I loud enough?
Is this what it's like dating a 6-year-old?
Hey, Ma, am I loud enough? Is the dinner ready yet? Did you feed the cats? Did you feed the cats, Ma?
This is what it's like dating a 6-year-old. He
I
yells
can't
at
wait
you.
for your neighbors to come right now and show up and say, what is happening in here?
Ladies,
Why is it so loud? I didn't know you were a cat, man. Are we going to bring in a guest? What was your name? What is your profession?
all right, you guys, let's bring her on. Registered therapist and the author of Memoirs of a Mother. The book is available on Amazon. Edith Alaverdian.
Wow.
I got it right. I actually love her last name.
That
I love
is
the name Alaverdian.
Very nice.
Wait, Edith, are you ready? Hey, guys. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
Live TV, everybody.
My phone's more excited.
That's awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much for doing this last minute.
Eddie, am I loud enough? Can you hear me okay?
I could hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Now and before, or better now?
It was pretty clear from the beginning.
I think the problem is that I'm just in life just generally loud. So it's like this.
That could be it. That could be
You
it.
are
So
excited,
you
and that is amazing.
So we briefly touched on the topic before we brought you on. So Mike's ready to pounce on this because he wants you to explain to us what does it take to identify a mature woman. And for everyone watching, I want to clarify that we are going to do how to identify a mature man episode. It just was too much to do it all at once. So we are definitely going to do another episode strictly just for men. But I'm ready.
Searching for a mature woman, right? On today's show.
Today is identifying a mature woman. Yeah. So the first thing I think is the mature emotional. What did I write? Her emotional stability. Like, where is she emotionally? And what does that mean when we say that? Can you kind of like dumb it down and explain it to us? Like, how does a guy identify a woman's emotional state?
I think overall it's really important to understand the person's maturity by really just asking them questions about goals and where they're at emotionally and psychologically versus, I think everything is such intrinsic motivation nowadays, meaning people are looking at whatever's on the surface, like outside factors. But I think if you were to ask any, young woman about goals and aspirations, you would really have a good sense of where she's at. But I strongly feel, and this is just my personal and professional perspective, that maturity comes from within. So if you know who you are as a human being, your expectations of what you want in your relationship and in a woman, you can automatically identify if that person is ready for you because you would sense it. You would both be on the same level.
You think some men can sense it? I
think men were able to kind of understand themselves, maybe, possibly. I mean, it's about knowing what you want.
Yeah, because
are you mature within?
Same with women too. Sorry to cut you off, but same with women.
No.
A woman can have a career, a great job, but then she could be an emotional mess. So how does a guy identify? Like, he can be like, oh, she's great. She's, she passed the bar. She's, this. And then you get into a relationship and she's a fucking
hot mess. I think emotional stability can come later on in a relationship, but it's so hard to immediately tell if a person's emotionally stable. But you can kind of sense yeah, you can kind of sense the maturity level by having a conversation. Like, you're like, okay, this is great. This is going somewhere. Like, we're hitting goals. We're talking about traveling. We're talking about, all kinds of great stuff that makes sense.
Even deep conversations, right? I mean, I like that. I like when you can have like a deep, raw, transparent conversation, right, with somebody. That's kind of when you know you're on somewhat on the same level. But I want to ask you about these dating apps. Do you think these dating apps kind of dumbs people down and kind of makes them immature because there's so much out there now because of the dating apps?
Yeah, I love that. Look, I think that dating apps now are very necessary only because there's people who are incredibly busy working, or they just don't have any single friends anymore. So it's like, for me particularly, like, I'm a single mom, right? So dating apps would be ideal for someone like me because all my friends are married. But I think, again, it comes to just being very cautious. Like, you have to be mindful and know what you're looking for. Because you're right, there's a lot of, crazy people, telling, stating all these false stuff on dating apps. So you have to be like super, super mindful. But I don't think it's necessarily bad. I just think you have to know and be careful of what you're looking for. But it is a good opportunity to get out there, make connection.
During our initial conversation, when we were talking about emotional stability, you kind of touched on how we growing up, we tend to go for people that we are used to, right? Like who we are raised
Family
by.
dynamics.
So you explained that, and I'd never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
want me to explain it?
Yeah, that was I hadn't thought about that before until you said it, and I was like, light bulb.
Right. I think so. The way family dynamics works, we have neurons in our brains. They're called mirror neurons. Like, you look in the mirror neurons. So we tend to kind of pick up behaviors from our parents. So it's learned behavior. I don't know if you've ever had this instance when you're like yawning and you stretch your arms and you're like, oh wait, my mom does that. Like, wow. So you pick up on those cues. So family dynamics is the same thing. I shouldn't say you, but people tend to marry people that are similar to their mothers, sisters, or brothers because it's the norm. It's what they grew up in. They're used to that specific character. Okay. But that does not necessarily mean that that particular character that your mother or your sister holds is the type that you would want to date. Does that make sense?
Isn't that interesting?
Wait. So you're saying you want to settle down with somebody like your mom or your sister, but you don't want to date
subconsciously. You go for that because your brain is subconsciously mirroring what you already know because it's safe. It's what you know, right? But she's saying it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what is good for you because we're all
not your type.
Oh,
individual.
sure. Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you're around your sisters or your mom, whatever, that kind of makes you comfortable, and that's what you grew with, like what you were growing with, right?
Yeah,
that was your surrounding. So that's what makes you comfortable.
And I think a similar, a good example, and I'm going to use women because then you can think of an example for men. Is, let's say if I was raised by an alcoholic father, right? Somehow I would likely end up with a man who drinks as well.
You're going to gravitate towards men that have no sense of worth, sense of value, just a really down person, okay? Because that's what you grew up with.
I just thought of an example. I was at a party years ago. I was at a party with friends of mine, girlfriends of mine. And towards the end of the party, the guys started to take the bottles and like chug it. And one of the girls goes, oh, that's so hot. And her dad is like that. And I was like, that makes sense.
Yes, that is family dynamics for you.
You know? And she likes that.
Tricky.
She was turned on by that.
Yeah, it's tricky. And a lot of the times women get into these marriages, or men, and they'll say things like, oh my God, she's just like my mom. And it's so frustrating. It's like, well, if you know the family dynamic system, you would kind of look out for that. But, sometimes, you look up to your mother and you're like, oh my God, my mother's such a great housewife. She's amazing. She's a good mom. Those are values and characteristics. But outside of that, you have to look at the bigger picture. Is your mom's personality type your type? Can you be okay with your wife being like that? Or can you be okay with your wife being like your sister? If no, then you kind of have to look outside the dynamics and kind of search within of what's your type. They're different characters. Mother's a different character. A sister. So you can't be the same way you are with your girlfriend as you are to your mother. They're different characters, different characteristics.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I feel like this topic is shifting into, it's not about identifying the mature woman. It's more about like identifying how do you identify what you want, what you need.
It always goes back to you. It always goes back to you. So when people ask me, how can I identify, like if a guy is, how can I identify red flags? You have to know your expectations. Like, what kind of woman do you want? What are your wants? What are your needs? What are your expectations? And the person that you're trying to pursue a relationship, can they meet those expectations? If not, then that's not the right person for you. But everything comes from within. You have to find your own identity in order to find connection and maturity among other people.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
You said you're
how personal?
You said you're a single. You said you're a single mother.
Yes.
Is that from a divorce or?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you learn from that experience?
Honestly,
the marriage and
I
the divorce
so
and getting
much.
out of the marriage. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
The part where you learn from the marriage, being married, and then from the divorce. What did you learn through that entire process?
I learned exactly that, what I was just talking about, expectations. What are my, what's a deal breaker? What I can handle? What type of person? I look at the family, because family dynamics is so important for me. How a mother treats, how a son treats the mother. Like, there's so many things that I learned exteriorly, but I learned so much about myself. And, one of the things that I learned about is, who do I want? What type of person do I want? Who am I? And what kind of person am I attracting? Right? Because, it goes back to like who you attract. Like, self-fulfilling prophecy is one of the biggest things in psychology. You attract people with your thoughts. So if you think you're ugly, you're going to feel ugly, you're going to act ugly. If you think your partner is cheating on you, the chances are they're going to, not because of magical things that happen, but you're going to treat them like a cheater by, focusing on their text messages and distancing yourself. So I don't know. I think that divorce just shakes your world in so many different ways, and you learn so much about your resiliency and yourself.
And
I could go on and on.
Ralph, he's watching it live right now, and he has a question. He's not a question, but he brings up a good point. He says, I want someone to be themselves. I would want anyone like my family. And I think that is a big statement, because we are able to be our true selves around our family members. So therefore, we want someone like our family. So anytime someone feels like, oh my God, I feel so comfortable around her, I feel so, comfortable around him, it immediately, it's a very family, feeling, right?
Cozy feeling.
It's a natural feeling. So therefore, maybe people, that's why a lot of people are like, oh, he's like family to me, and it just feels right. I've actually had, oh my God.
What?
It's true. Because in hindsight, when I look back, my ex used to always say that she's like family. Then when I look at it, there were problems, but everything felt very family like.
That's called codependency. A little bit. I wouldn't say like full blown, but when you are reaching for people who are similar, like a very familiar feeling, it's because it's really hard for you to adjust to other feelings. Like, we tend to gravitate towards things that are familiar to our brain, because our brain doesn't like change naturally. So of course we're going to go with a familiar feeling and be comfortable around somebody that makes us feel very warm, like our parents do.
Interesting. Yeah, it is, and I see it. Like, I get it. But I also think on the other end, the flip end, if you're smart enough to see if you're in a bad environment, are they usually smart enough to see that it's bad and they don't want that, or is it usually the case of, oh, my dad, is taking shots, Monday through Sunday. I want a guy just like
that. If you don't know yourself, you're going to go with whatever you're familiar with. But sometimes familiarity is not what's good for you. You have to be, this is why I keep, telling anybody that I meet, friends, family members, patients, you have to get to know yourself. Your identity is so important because that's going to mold your life together. That's going to ultimately.
I thought he did one of these.
Why? He said I should have.
Yeah. He's like, no, but I should have.
Not too late.
What about talk about not too late? What about the guys who are in long-term relationships and are scared to get out of them, and they're forced to marry these girls, and then they become miserable in these relationships, and then they ultimately get divorced, and then ends ugly. What do you tell those guys?
I don't know. I don't know what I would tell them, but I don't know. Like, give me a question and I can answer. Like,
let's say a guy,
such a loaded statement.
Let's say he's in a relationship for 3, 4, 5 years, right? Family knows him, everybody's comfortable with him, but at the end of the day, he's not really in love with her. So how does he get out of that relationship? Because he's so comfortable in it. How does he get out of that?
I think he just has to learn to love her.
No?
If there are kids involved,
no kids.
Oh, out. Bye.
Get out. Yeah, it's hard when there's it's hard when there's arranged marriages. It's difficult when they're forced into these marriages. I mean, like, I feel so bad because sometimes people are so stuck. But hey, if you're gonna stick around for the family, you just have to get to know one another. But if you want to leave, just leave and work on yourself so you don't make the same mistakes. It's okay to leave. It's sometimes things don't work out, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole list, and I told you about all the different ways, right? A woman who doesn't take responsibility, is that a sign of maturity or maturity? How do you identify a woman who doesn't take responsibility?
Yes, I think it is definitely, but also responsibility, I think it correlates with, I don't know, a little bit of maybe anxiety, life, it's so hard because I don't think everybody's fully mature. I think that we're all working on ourselves. We all have so much time. I mean, I don't fully think that there's somebody who's fully content with themselves and is mature. I think we all have a little bit of immaturity in us.
Of course. I don't ever want to mature. I want to stay. Yeah, I want to stay a kid at heart.
What is maturity, though?
Right? No.
Maturity?
I think when I use the word maturity during this specific conversation, it's things like someone who takes responsibility, like she acknowledges her faults, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't turn it around on the guy. She doesn't play the victim. She doesn't manipulate. And right now men are watching and going, yes. It's like, but they feel like maybe they figured that out about her a little late, and now they're heartbroken. So therefore, it's like, fuck women.
Yeah. Sure. They're going through bad.
Responsibility is huge. I think one of the most important, like, I guess, red flags would be if you are sharing, like, a moment of turn off. Like, hey, honey, I felt this when you did this, and she's gaslighting, like making you feel like you're the wrong and how could you. Those are like little things to look for. Like, you want to be able to find responsibility you find in conversation.
You're calling it red flags. I'm calling it immaturity. That's the difference here. For her, these are red flags.
Yeah, they are red flags. They're cues. They're little, hey, bad, like a bad, evaluate more, date more, investigate, put on the FBI hat on, like, what's really happening? Is she defensive? Why is she defensive, right? Women are like, a jealous woman, I read somewhere, is the best FBI agent out there.
Why just jealous? Or any
I just read that and I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, any Armenian woman, you want anything investigated, just go on the Armenian Report and put out an alert, and you will get everything you need. Okay, these Armenian women, it's like within seconds, his penis size. Like the most,
you guys, responsibility.
It's crazy. He said, Mom said, okay, done, got it. It's crazy.
I know.
So it's not just a jealous woman. It's a woman with culture.
the woman with culture thing, absolutely. But communication is so important, and you will find whatever answers you are looking for, whatever your heart is searching for, by allowing yourself to go into deep conversation and seeing where that takes you, because those conversations are very important. I mean, like, what do people talk about on dates nowadays anyway, right?
It's true. The deep conversation are the times when you find out about the person.
Absolutely.
Because then you find out if they're open with you. Are they going to be open with you? You're going to have a natural conversation with them. Are you going to be weird about it, shy, standoffish?
I have to argue this point because I gotta argue this point because look, you're not a shy person. I don't know Edith enough to know if she's a shy person or not, right? But I personally know shy people, and it's tough for them. Like they can't get into a deep conversation until they are really sure about you.
That's okay. I'm that way. I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm totally that way because I've got a romance built. I'm not going to open up to some random girl that I'm on the second date.
Not immediately. Yeah. I think for all women and men, it's not going to be like an immediate thing, but you want to build that communication.
No.
You do?
Oh, absolutely.
What? I didn't hear.
He said you have deep conversations on the first, second date, and honestly, to me, it's another human being.
No.
Yeah. I guess. Okay, hold on.
I don't let everybody in my little circle, so for me, it's hard to do that. Right? It's hard for me to open up and let them know about myself and everything.
And I guess let's identify what a deep conversation is.
I mean, your past, maybe some things that you don't talk to everybody about. That you want her to know about or him to know about, so that they get to know you and each other, and then you build a relationship from there.
I think it's different for everyone. For some people, deep conversation is going clubbing.
Yeah.
It depends. I think
I want to go to Vegas and I want to go to a club. I'm like, I'm in the mood. I don't know. It's because I know. I think it's because Christian's in Vegas right now. Did you see? No. Mom's boss's grandson. It's his first time. How old is he? 4. And he's having so much fun being in Vegas, and I just want to be there.
Is he really 4 years old?
Yeah. How old is he? 4? 4.5? I don't know. I like watching him in Vegas. I'm like, dude, I want to go there. Like, I want a hangover, like movie scene.
Oh yeah. Oh, I miss Vegas too. Meaning, what you're trying to say is, you need self-care. Sure. You need a break.
Mike thinks I've roofied him.
Could be. You'll never know.
I've got a couple.
Until you drink it.
I've got a couple points that I want to make.
Yes. Go.
I'm going to give you some bulletin points, okay?
Okay.
Open, transparency, and real in terms of conversations with your partner. She despises drama. I think that's a big deal. When she doesn't like drama, she's somewhat, mature. She wants nothing to do with it. She's independent, which is awesome. A girl's independent. She can kind of be on her own at times. I love. She works on herself, so she admits what she's doing is incorrect, and she's working on it. She admits when she's wrong, and she gives awesome advice. I think those are all really important things.
She sounds wonderful, Mike.
Right? Those are pretty important things.
What kind of advice?
Well, like if you come home from work and you're stressed out.
Oh, I see.
You're like, what do you think about that?
Oh. I thought, sorry, my brain went.
Do you know what's interesting is the fact that men want communication, but yet they are so afraid of drama. And I want to know, what does drama mean for you, Mike?
Drama means that you have drama friends too. So you're always coming home, or she's always talking about her drama friends, where they just
telling you stories.
Yeah, mostly stories. Or they just, you know what it is? You know what I think it is I think it's boredom. I think it ends up to be boredom. So when you're bored, you usually tend to go the wrong way, and sometimes for women, it's drama. And so when they're bored, they have to talk about somebody else or put themselves in a situation that creates drama. And I think that then is kind of like a rolling ball effect.
Can I tell a story?
And that makes you uncomfortable. Sorry, go ahead.
Uncomfortable. I just think that I think our own lives we should be busy enough to not worry about the drama. That's all. I don't think that we should worry about anybody else's life but ourselves.
So today is my grandmother's birthday, and when he said that, it triggered a memory of her in my mind. So my grandma ran a kindergarten in Armenia. So essentially, she ran her business, right, with the government, because it was a government, like, so she dealt with the government, right? So, but she ran a business, right? There's budgeting, there's employees, there are children, and all that, right? Events, the whole thing. I remember she used to always say things like, "Those women don't like me because I don't have time to sit down and gossip with them."
Right.
And she was like, "I don't have time." Like she used to always say, she's like, "I don't have like by the time I get home, because back then in Armenia it wasn't like, oh, she's also working full time, so the husband needs to step in and help." No, it's like you're still the woman. You choose to work full time, so therefore you gotta do everything else. So she was just like, "I don't have time." Like, I remember growing up always hearing her say that.
That's exactly how it should be.
That's what you're
That's
saying.
how it should be. Like, we should fill up our time with good, positive stuff rather than worry about other people's lives. You know? That's how I see it.
But she didn't have that many
I like discussing other people's lives. However, it depends on what circumstances. Like
right? That's a whole.
I like to talk about like a person's success. Like, let's just give it an example. Like, if Anna is like this, she's doing her thing. Like, I'm going to talk about her. I'm like, oh my God, Anna's amazing. Like in a more positive aspect. But I do connect with what you're saying because we have so much going on already. Like, hey, like, say something positive. Like, bring me up. Say something amazing, right?
You talking about Anna and the way she's killing it, that is not a negative word. That's not in the drama.
I don't know how to say compliment.
That is positive stuff.
I've noticed Anna.
I want to literally get under the table right now. Like, talk about someone else.
Going back to what you were saying, Mike, because it was so interesting. You said we become bored, and humans have 6 needs, by the way. I don't know if we have time to kind of go through all of them, but one of them, number 2, is uncertainty and variety. And we're going to talk about cheating a little bit because people get so like, what? When I say this, a lot of the times, men and women will ask, well, I don't know why my husband, cheats on me, or why my wife cheated on me. And then when you dig deep into their marriage, they're bored. Uncertainty. People need uncertainty in their life. Uncertainty and variety, meaning change, different. Something.
But what gets them bored? Is it in the bedroom or just in general?
I think it could be so many things. Repetitiveness. I mean, like going to the 8 to 5 a.m. job, coming home, cleaning, cooking, sleep, and then doing the same thing over and over.
I kill myself.
When you're stagnant, you're not growing, and that's part of the 6th human need is growth. We strive on growth, knowing, knowledge, contribution, which is our 5th need. Everything is correlated, and if something's missing within this 6, you bet you're going to experience depression. You bet you're going to experience anxiety and isolation.
Hold on, I have to say something. You triggered me. You said you get bored. You get bored, right? You get bored. If there's no growth, you get bored, right? I can definitely, I've been in situations where I've had a guy tell me, why are you creating unnecessary drama? But in my head, I wasn't creating unnecessary drama. I just felt like there was this like boredom, like it was like the same thing. And I was like, I was going crazy. I was like, oh my God, this guy is I'm bored with him, right? Like he wanted the same shit like this. Like
you had too much certainty.
And for me, like, bringing up a conversation like, hey, what do you think of this? And I'm like, I'm just having a conversation with you. Like, I'm trying to not be bored. Right. And so that's where you have to be careful too, because you just want to cruise, but then there's no growth, and that's a problem. But you're interpreting it as drama.
So, having a boring life with a partner?
No, like, let's say, I don't know, maybe she decides, I want to remodel the house, and you're like, why you want to bring drama into our life? I'm finally chilling.
I'm talking about drama, like where the boredom comes from you not filling up your day with productive things.
Yeah, you're not fulfilling the rest of the 5 things that's on the list.
So then I feel like then you have to
number 1 is certainty, you guys.
Yeah.
Bullshit. You just waste your day and waste time.
Okay.
So number one is certainty, right? When we have anxiety and we're like antsy and anxious and on edge is because we don't know. People naturally want to know things, like where things are. You want to know things are good, things are going to be great in the future, right? I mean, what does not knowing cause us? It's so, uncomfortable at times. So number one is certainty. Number two is uncertainty and variety, meaning the change. Number three is love and connection, meaning not only sexually, but connecting human to human, good friends, good conversations, knowing your support system. Okay, that's number three. Number four is significance. This is the most important one, I think, because you'll meet men that are like, oh, she's such an attention-seeking person. She wants significance. She wants to feel important because that's been missing in her life. Everybody wants to feel like they're purposeful. They have a purpose. They're significant. They're important, right? Yeah. Look at all the moms who are experiencing depression because their kids don't give a crap about them. They want to feel important. People want to feel validated. How great do you feel when your woman says, hey, you look so good, or your man, right? So those are all things that I think people have to look for. So when I say get to know yourself and identity and learn about life, these are the things I'm talking about, because to have a good, solid relationship, you kind of have to know about these things. 5 is growth. Growing, meaning learning about life. So I had this patient and I was going over the 6 needs and she's like, oh, I fulfill all 6 needs by cleaning the house. And it was so interesting. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Walk me through this. Tell me how, because this is missing in everyone's life. How do you fulfill this? By just cleaning the house? And she's like, look at this. I'm going to tell you this. It's going to blow your mind. But 5th is growth. Okay. Learning daily, listening to a podcast, hearing somebody intelligent talk and picking things up, because each day you learn, you're growing dendrites in your brain. Okay. That's like braingasm right there. And number 6 is contribution. What you're doing right now, you're contributing. So it feels so good, right? You're getting feedback, you're helping people. Anyway, let's go back to my little lady there. So she said, I'm cleaning the house. I get my number 1 need, which is certainty, because I know where everything is. Okay? I do my thing. I organize the way I need to. Okay. Number 2. Number 2. Okay. Well, every time I get bored, I could just change things around my house by cleaning, and I get variety and change. Genius. Okay. How do you find love and connection by cleaning? Well, I'm ironing my husband's shirt. I feel connected to him. It's real. This is real. I can't stop laughing. She's ironing her husband's shirt, cleaning the toy chests of the kids. She feels connected to her family like that. Well, how in the heck do you grow by cleaning? What? What do you mean? She says, I put on a podcast and I listen while I'm cleaning. Oh, okay. And what about?
Hold on, we're getting somewhere, because then when her husband can come home, she can say, "Did you know that
there's these 6
women are from Venus and men are from Mars?"
Confirm that.
Okay, fair enough. I hope she's listening to the Anna Report podcast. And invite us.
Really close friends.
Okay. I'll tell you why I'm telling you this story. And number 6 was contribution. And she said, I'm providing a sanitary space for my children and my family. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm providing them a good home, a sheltered home for them to live.
That I'll buy.
Contribution.
That I'll buy.
I said, yes. And I said, yes. Why am I telling you this? Because here I have a woman who I worked on depression with for about 8 months. If she can come from such a dark place and identify these little things that make her happy, you're good. We always are searching for such big things in life. Yeah, everything is in front of us.
No, that's seriously awesome. That's her just falling,
is a big contribution. This is a good connection. This is what life is about.
That's really cool.
I'll drink to that.
That's a good story. And Anna's going to edit out all
it is.
to make sure she doesn't come across.
When I tell people that story, they tear up because it really makes you look at the little things in life. Or that.
Wait, hold on. Can you explain why I'm laughing and not tearing up?
I think you're laughing because it's a defense mechanism. You connect with it.
Well, I connect with it because I assume that there are lots of men out there who expect me to just clean, right?
Yes.
That's why I'm laughing. Well, it's also, yeah.
Or it's a silly story.
She's loving life. 8 months ago, she was down and depressed, and now she cleans the kitchen counter, and she's like joyful and excited and happy because she's moving the needle and crawling into life, man. I love it. Good for her.
She found purpose. She found purpose. She found her purpose.
Is her husband cheating on her?
I'm not going to get into details of all that stuff.
Okay. But no. What I'm saying is, like, did she nip it in the butt before her marriage collapsed?
Yeah. You can say that.
Yeah.
You can say that. But you guys, getting out of a dark place is very possible with a little bit of psychotherapy. So yeah, I just think it's beautiful because I love hearing somebody find, purpose in such little things, as cleaning the house. Like, who would know? Who would guess?
Yeah. I love that. I like ending it on that note. What are your final, button up thoughts on the topic of identifying a mature woman for the guys? Given what Mike has said, Mike actually wrote notes today.
I thought you were going to say, Mike actually had good stuff today. Oh, he wrote notes.
He wrote notes
usually
and he
very
delivered.
talkative.
You're bringing it today. You're
I feel like I did all the talking.
As you should. You're
supposed to. That's the point.
Yeah. Okay. Good. As long as I'm not taking crossing boundaries or anything. Any advice? Honestly, I think people need to, men particularly, since we're on that topic, men, handsome gentlemen out there in the world, please sit down and identify what you want. What are your expectations? Look at your family dynamics. Identify traits of your mother, identify traits of your sister, and see if that's the type of you want. That's the first thing. The second thing is...
Really quickly, because you're on the first thing. Sure. I want to make that point real quick. You're 39 years old. He's 39, and you're telling him to sit there and identify. He goes on 1 date, 2 dates. That girl doesn't fit that identification. He's pissed. Yeah. He's annoyed. He's like, chop.
He's gonna be.
Dying.
He's gonna be.
He's not, but that's how men feel too. But what's gonna happen? That's annoying for a lot of men.
It is annoying, and honestly, there's no psychological word or magic wand to make that go away. But a lot of people would tell me, well, should I lower my expectations? No, because you're going to be miserable. You're going to be unhappy. Don't do that, because you want to make sure. So expectations come at 3 levels, you guys. Is it unrealistic or realistic expectations? Are you wanting a wife that has this, super amazing career and you just expect her to drop everything and have babies for you? That's unrealistic expectation because you're asking for too much. Reasonable expectations. That's where I'm going at. Okay. Don't lower your expectations or your standards, but make sure it's reasonable and it's logical. It's not based on, emotions and fantasy. But it takes time. Finding love takes time, especially nowadays.
What was
changed so much?
I like that. What was number 2? Sorry, I cut you off. I just wanted to.
No, please. So the expectations, and then the number 2, I think what I said was look at family dynamics. It's very important. Identify who's in the family. What do you like about your family? What qualities? What are the pros and cons? And see if you've been dating people like your mother.
I've done that.
Mm-hmm. I have too. I've dated men that have similar traits as my father, very strict and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that didn't work for me because I'm independent, and I was like, "Oh, you're too strict for me. I can't. I'll go crazy." And I found out thirdly because I met someone like that.
Yeah,
so be mindful of those things.
So my grandma used to work full time and run the house, but then every single morning, my grandfather worked in the government. She had to hold his suit before he went to work. She's cooking breakfast, running around, doing late to work, and she has to go hold his suit. And I was like, what is happening right now? Like,
It was,
when
expected,
does he
but can you
step into
expect that
help?
now, Anna?
I'm sorry?
Can you expect that now? That was expected back in the day, but can men expect that now from women?
I think so. I think a lot of men expect that.
Yeah, they can, but some women won't do it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean, but the problem is that if, what I'm saying is like, if I was a man, right, and I saw my grandmother do it, so does that mean that for example, like my cousin who saw it, my guy cousin saw that, right? His grandmother doing that with grandpa. Yeah. Does that mean that if his fiance doesn't do that, then she's not a good enough woman? No, I don't. Right?
Think
the same thing. No. It's like identifying, like what's important.
Yes. So, but you also have to again. So here's another thing that actually I forgot to mention. Everybody has a different family dynamic. So when I say look at your expectations, I don't mean by just look at your family dynamic. Like you have to be very considerate of the person you're trying to pursue as a date, because their family dynamics are going to be completely different. Right? So I think it's a beautiful custom that a woman holds the coat for a man. That's a sign of respect and love for me. But if I tell this to my friend who was born and raised here, she's going to be like, what? He can put on his own jacket. I ain't his mama. You know, that type of mentality.
What if you fall for a girl and her family sucks?
If you what?
You fall for a girl and her family sucks.
Your question was so as a matter of what?
If you fall for a girl but her family is no good.
Or if her family is bad?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it going to work for you? Maybe boundaries. Think about relationships.
I mean, they usually come. I mean, they don't usually, but the person you're marrying, the family comes with, right? It's a big deal. Family's a huge dynamic.
So look at who she's like, her mom or her dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think you're going to get that because, again, you're born in a different family dynamic. You're never going to be fully okay with another person's family dynamic. You weren't raised in that family. So this is why boundaries in relationship are important. What are you okay with? How far? Like what, you know?
Edith says, I'm very good with boundaries. That was a huge compliment you gave me today.
Think you're good with boundaries?
Yes, you are, Anna.
That's what she said.
I think
she said I'm good with boundaries.
I can sense it. I can smell boundaries from miles away. Yeah, I think he has. I think he's a very giving person, but very standoffish, kind of very reserved. But yet he has boundaries. I think he has boundaries. I'm not a psychic. I'm just reading your energy.
Did you just read my coffee cup? Is that what you did?
Yeah, your wine cup. It's empty. That's what I'm reading.
Yes, she said I'm really good with that
topic.
Good.
Good? Yeah, we can go on forever. But I definitely want you to come back until we flip this around and do the male version of this conversation.
Oh my God, yes. I think it's going to be so good. We need to talk about women and how they identify a mature man for sure.
Yeah. Really quickly, there's a comment.
A little different.
There's a comment from JR. He says, you can't hold a person's family against them.
I think that's true. I think that's true to a certain extent because I feel like when you're born from that foundation, you're raised from that foundation, right? From the parents. And you kind of become the person that they raised.
Mm-hmm. But Oprah was a rape baby. Explain that.
Was she?
Yeah, explain that.
She's a strong woman. They're out there.
Who? Oprah.
Oprah, yes.
So, like, you know, you can say that, but she was you know.
Awesome.
So what about that?
It's rare, but they're out there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have people that have really, you know, families who have poor boundaries and a person who doesn't. You know, you can date a wonderful person with bad family, but you have to look at the bigger picture. Is that person going to drop everything for their family when there's kids in the picture and, you know, all that stuff? So
that's what I'm saying.
It's a big decision.
You're getting married and you don't like the family, you're going to have kids with the family, or you're going to have kids with that girl. And then when you need a babysitter or whatever, or the family's going to come over and see the kid, you're going to want to be around that family. So I think family is very important. Like, it's got to be right.
It is very important.
It's a big dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, look, of course. They're going to raise your kids. They're going to be around your kids. And, you know, whatever animosity or hate or resentment you have.
Can you imagine family vacations if you can't stand them? Oh,
Again, I love that comment, but to me, it's not. We have to look out for that.
Great show.
all right. Thank
time.
you so
Great
much for
show,
your time.
yes.
Thank you. I know you have another actually interview at 7:30, so go
Yes,
freshen up and get
I
to it.
do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys
Okay.
so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you, and good luck.
Thank you.
See you guys. See you. Bye.
I'm reserved. Like that?
There's nothing new.
Alright. You think I'm opened up on the show? You think I'm reserved on the show?
No, you listen. After the holiday show, the one we did with everyone around the table, that's when a lot of people fell in love with you.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what it.
I don't think I was that open. I think it was my deer outfit.
Yeah, but you kind of came off. Maybe you showed a playful side instead of a serious side to you, and it let people in.
I come off as a very serious person. See, I know how that feels when people
I don't
feel like
I can't take you seriously. I don't know what you're talking about.
right? That's right. That's how I think I.
There's nothing serious about you.
People really think that I guess I'm a serious person. I mean business. It's true. I mean business. But at the same time, I'm a fun guy to be around.
Yeah, I don't see you as like I literally look at you and start laughing.
You're the only person I think that feels that way in my 3 friends.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody else thinks I'm a real serious guy.
Shut up. Oh, I want to be around you when you're around those people.
But people who think I'm serious. Well,
Oh, yeah.
she thinks I am. You were just around. You saw that. And she thinks I'm reserved and serious.
Yeah, I was laughing. I was like, laughing at you. You're like, JR says, you got to limit family time. Have lunch and kick them out. If that's what I'm married into, I'm out before the kids come.
There's a lot of people like that.
I'm out before the kids
A lot. Like, everybody complains about their in-laws.
I can't.
Right? Like,
I
there's
can't.
commercials out there.
That's
The in-laws are coming. There's movies. In-laws are coming. And then in real life, people talk about their in-laws. Ugh, my mother-in-law's coming. My father-in-law. It's like,
I've never, ever been in that situation. Moms love me more than the sons, and everybody loves my mom.
Yeah.
I've never been in that situation.
she's easy to love, man.
I know, she's the best. So, yeah, you wanna tell people about how Oi Oi, maybe we might get Dan Bilzerian on the
We're
show?
laughing at our oi oi, but now the oi oi, there's a chance for Danny B to come on the show, Dan Bilzerian, because he replied to your message today. We got very excited.
So excited.
And she sent me a text.
Woo!
Hi. How was that again?
It was you!
So, yeah, he
It's
replied.
like I'm sitting on like the washer or something.
I'm like the lamest LOL ever. And so she's like, I don't care. He replied. He knows we're alive. He knows we exist. And there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's a chance.
Yep.
I have a question.
Plus, this is an old lady.
When I'm talking business, that's what I do. I have a very important question, and you run a business, and I kind of somehow apparently run a business. But people watching, I want your input as well. An LOL or any message or reply is your in sales. That's it. Door has been opened.
Absolutely. Helps the cause.
How do I close that deal now? Options. Go.
Feet pictures. Could have a foot fetish. He might know about your foot fetish.
So we need to find out what Dan Bilzerian's fetish is.
What is his fetish?
He's seen cats.
He likes cats.
Pussy.
Yeah, he does like that.
I don't have a cat. Do you have a cat?
I do not. But we can rip him. It's not a big deal.
Oh, like Meet the Fuckers.
Yeah. Totally rent a cat. But how do we get him on? We'll figure this out. We will.
He lives up right here.
So you think he's gonna come to the studio?
No, we go to him.
We'll go to him. He's
Yeah.
not gonna be on Skype.
This is how I imagine the interview with him. We're just lounging on the sofa. There's a bunch of naked chicks behind us getting high.
Like cats on the counter.
There can't be cats on the counter unless they're Persian cats because I'm allergic.
They're not gonna be Persian cats, and if you tell him you can't have any cats around, he's gonna kick you out. Then what do you do?
I Skype in. You sit there.
Hi, Dan! Right? And
hear you guys outside of the door.
Your audio really sucks. That's what he's gonna say. Can't hear you. Your audio sucks.
He's not even listen to me. You think he's gonna wear that? He's gonna be like, I'm just gonna sit here. You tell me what you say.
Yes. But that is the conclusion to that LOL. Is there is a chance. That's all that matters. Just give me a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the mentality.
Yeah.
So it's game time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lamar says Anna in a bikini. I don't think he wants to see me in a bikini.
Why not?
He does not want to see me in a bikini. Not that I don't look good, but I'm just like, you know what it is? I have become desensitized to porn after working at CMU because we have to watch so much porn.
And by the way, if you go in a bikini and send him a picture of you in a bikini, he's gonna be like, I've seen, because you're gonna be like every other girl. You gotta be different.
I do not look like every other girl. I don't have fake boobs.
No, but what I'm saying is you're going to be a girl sending him a bikini picture.
Oh.
I think thousands and millions of other girls have done that to him. You're like, whatever. Next. You got to be different. You got to be different.
Yeah, but I'm not. Those girls are sending really I'm wearing a one piece in Santa Barbara with my LA cap on or something.
You're going to send that to him? Or
no, I'm just saying he's like, oh, wholesome girl.
Yeah, exactly.
So sweet.
That's nothing to do with that.
Poor thing. Virgin. Yeah.
She's coming out with a one-piece bikini. How cute.
Yeah. And then his reply is, how much do you need for that boob job?
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
All right. Any last thoughts on this topic?
I all the points that I threw out there, I think are important.
Yeah, you did. You made a really good point.
Cool, thank you.
I'm glad you came through because this was more.
Yeah, I'm glad I came through. Is that a general statement?
No, I'm glad you came through because the topic is more for men, than
I think those are important. I don't think you're going to get a girl with all of those qualities, but I think those are important qualities to have, at least some of them, a percentage of it, And then going back to the girl who's independent is nice because when you're working throughout the day, you don't want to text from her all day long because she's bored doing nothing,
Yeah.
So her being independent, working and making money or whatever, just being busy. You want a girl who's busy. You don't want a girl who's bored and doing nothing. So I think that's important.
Yeah.
And then stays away from drama. I know you guys were kind of confused with my drama statement, but
yeah, we were
from the drama stuff too. When she's busy.
Yeah, of course.
You have to worry about the negative stuff. That's negative energy things. Like when you're talking bad about something or somebody, it's not time for that stuff.
Yeah.
You just gotta kick it out and just move on and think about the good stuff.
Okay. All right. Bye, you guys. See you guys next Monday.